Hi there. I confess I'm a little surprised that no one's asked for this, although I suspect you've all been expecting it. What I'm going to do tonight is revisit the in-running scalping technique on both sides of the market, like we did in the tennis 2 or 3 weeks back. But we're going to go back to its roots and do it on horse racing. But the twist is I'm going to do it pre-race. So just to recap, we're going to scalp for one tick, 100%, so £100 liability for the lease side and £100 profit for the back side. Not bother with fill or kill or stop losses or repeat on success, although you can, of course, apply those if you wish. So we just select both sides of the market and let it get on with its thing. I haven't got, as I say, I haven't got fill or kill in, so these bets will remain, but I may cancel them and go back in again as things develop. Now, the £100 stake level is very conservative, given that we're pre-race, so that could be bumped up a fair bit, I would think. But I'm looking for about £5 really, and of course I could use a green up option, which I have done in the couple of races I have done so far, which has been successful. I'll just bring up the watch list here. So I've done 2 races already, that one and that one, and they've greened out quite nicely. So you'll see most of the bets now have been taken. We've just got 2 runners there that are still involved. So we can go back in on the other ones and put more trades in. You can, of course, as I mentioned earlier, you can use the repeat on success option. I'm still not convinced by using that, to be perfectly honest, in the in-running scalping technique. It seems to work sometimes, but it can put you in difficulties as well at the same time. So certainly I like to do things by hand when it comes to this particular technique. So the idea with a 7 furlong sprint is to carry on unless the green out option trades me out. Carry on trading until they start going in the stalls. And there you see we'll be greening up in a minute with any luck. And that's it. No need to get involved again. That was nice and easy. Right, on to the next race. Okay, coming up for the 6.55 at Worcester. I have my green up for £5 strategy assigned, and it'll be interesting to see with just a 3-runner race. So in we go. This event will start in 5 minutes. Select all runners in this particular case, both sides of the market, and let's see what happens. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to see what this was like pre-race is that, first of all, I think in running using both sides of the market may actually prove to be a little too frantic, and I suspect that things will have a tendency to run away with you very easily. And the other reason is that pre-race, it should be relatively straightforward to scale things up. I'm using £100 stakes here at the moment. I would think it would be fairly straightforward to be able to double that, treble that, possibly even quadruple it. But we'll see how it goes. And the other thing is, of course, that as I've mentioned in previous videos, I don't have a history of trading pre-race. It's something I've always found quite difficult. I hate the way the market gets or appears to be manipulated pre-race, and I've always found that very difficult to judge. So if there is a mechanism I can use to scalp the market pre-race, even just for £5, well, I think that's can only be a good thing, in that if you can make £5 per race, 20 races a day, 20 days a week, that's £2 grand. So it's worthwhile having a look at. This one doesn't seem to be going too well for us though. Not much movement, and the movement's not bouncing back. But we'll let it go until race time, and then we'll trade out. After this race, I'll probably do one more, and I think I'll do a quick test of it in running and see how it goes. But as I say, I suspect it will be too frantic to be viable, and I certainly think that things could run away from you very, very quickly if you're not careful. And I think the rules regarding the original in-running scalping technique, in that stay away from sprint races, I think it would still apply using this technique as well, especially when you're doing on the backside, because you can end up with relatively large liabilities on one particular runner. So if you do it in running in a sprint where things happen extremely quickly, it may not be the sensible option to take. Okay, so that's Bashful Boy finished, so we can actually go back in on him. Market seems to be moving a bit more freely now. So hopefully this figure here will start to come towards us. Bashful Boy is free to get involved again. Now, although I've got a green up for 5, you can obviously have a red up for -5 or -10 if you wish as well. I'll just trade out manually if the green up option doesn't trigger, which it doesn't look like it's going to in this particular case. But that's the other beauty of doing things pre-race as well. Although we're using stakes of 100, you're not going to lose 100. Where in running, you could very easily find yourself facing a big chunk of that disappearing. So that's another reason for seeing if this works in pre-race, because I think it's worth pursuing if it does. You'll see both Imperial Elysian needs to come in quite a bit, and Solo Saxophone needs to go out a relatively large amount as well. So that doesn't look like it's going to happen, and it just seems to be getting away from us now. So let's just trade out of that one. We'll write that one off. Now, whether that's because it was such a small market, who knows? But let's move on to the next race. Actually, while I'm here, rather than waiting for the next race, let's try this in running. So we'll increase the offset and essentially go in and do the same and see how we get on. The green up option is still there, but as I say, I have a suspicion this will tend to run away with you. The very original in-running scalping technique advised coming out halfway for any race that you were involved in, and I think that's probably sensible to do that here as well. So that's Bashful Boy available again, so we'll go back in on him. Given that we're looking for 3 ticks, we should find that if things go our way, this number should turn around and start heading in our favour fairly quickly. Keeping in mind that we started off at a, what was it, £17 deficit. So we had the opportunity of scratching there, but didn't take it. I'm still relying on the green up option to trigger, of course. You can see how quickly things change in running as well. So we started off £17 down, we got up to just about scratch or just past scratch, and it's been jumping up and down between 17 and -5 or thereabouts. So general rule of thumb would be to get out now, but let's see what happens. You'll see that when you get to this sort of stage, the second half of the race, things can start to go south very quickly. Even though every single runner in this particular example still has some involvement in terms of the market bets. Now, I don't have commentary or pictures on, but I'm guessing from the odds that solo saxophone is tending to run away with this one. But if you base it on our starting position of -17, you saw that we effectively had an opportunity of recovering that money. So if we had started off from scratch, there was a potential profit from this race of certainly more than £10 in running. But as I say, I'm not convinced I would want to do this in running, to be perfectly honest. So now we're completely reliant on Imperial Elysian. First of all, getting matched at 8.8 and then coming in to win, which he's just done, but he needs to come in again now. So the solo saxophone goes out. So it's very quickly turns into a bet when you're doing this in running. I've decided. Okay, and there's a big loss there. I mean, obviously we could have traded out long ago. Okay, now let's skip on to the next race. Right, on to the 710 at Epsom, and this will be the last race. I think you've probably got the gist of things by now. But again, I've got the green up for £5 strategy set to trade me out automatically should that target be hit. Another small field race though, so it'll be interesting to see how this develops pre-race. I won't bother taking this one in running. We'll just see how it goes, and then I shall wrap it up. So yeah, usual story. Both sides of the market. We won't bother doing Tornado Grey, given that he's sitting up at 18s. We'll just see how the other ones do. So we simply want to keep an eye on these, and whenever one of these runners isn't involved here, we can go back in on them again. Same old story. Right, so just Whisper's the only one left, so we can go back into the other ones. And Whisper's now free to join in again. And we're very close to trading out. Famous last words. Now, although I've got a strategy set up to trade out, of course, you can obviously trade out at any time. Trading out. Thank you. Now you'll see just the way the timing was for that trade out option. We're still left with Whisper there. So I can either green out or I can just carry on. We'll actually green up Whisper. Invalid profit. So there must be a very small stake on something. There we go. Okay, so 4:48, 3 minutes left. Let's just bash in again. Now the strategy has already fired, so it won't fire again. So we'll have to manually trade it, and we'll just take that £6. Thank you very much. Now, of course, doing things pre-race, one might argue there's no need to have an automated strategy. The reason for having an automated green out is because, of course, Fairbot reacts to the situation a lot quicker than you or I can do clicking on a mouse. It also takes away some of the emotion. So if you see the market P&L increasing, you might think, oh, I'll hang on for another couple of quid, and so on. And then all of a sudden you find the market turns against you again. So that's the benefit of using a strategy to green it up automatically once a target profit has been met, even when doing it pre-race. Okay, so if we just recap, obviously that one's artificially high because we took it in running. That was a £17 loss, I think, if memory serves me correctly. So we're looking at what, 15, 16 plus £22. So yeah, we're looking at £3 or £4 profit just for those examples that we've done pre-race. I think it's certainly something that's worth looking into because it's a great element missing from my repertoire is pre-race trading skills, and it would be something nice, a nice quiver to add to the bow, as it were. Okay, that'll be it. Just the final thing, you'll see there's some tennis stuff in here that I've been testing. I've modified my in-running, sorry, not my in-running, my tennis strategy, which had a bit of a faux pas the other day. Having analysed that, I did spot a couple of things that needed tweaking. So I've been testing this the past couple of days, and both days have been a profit. Both days have seen one losing match. I've been using half stakes as well. So with half stakes, the profit for the 2 days would have been about £120 if memory serves me correctly. So I'll carry on testing that. You won't see anything with regard to the journey over the next 3 days. Unfortunately, I am working, so that won't kick off again until next Monday. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Speak to you later.